Hello, my friends. Here we go. I've decided I had a lot of little scraps from the cards I made for the craft fair a few weeks ago. I decided to decorate my paper with Minte Autumn Splendor. It's just so beautiful. And I know autumn or fall is celebrated here in California very different than it is in the East Coast. And I must say I was very much inspired when I was in Indiana. Just the peacefulness and being able to experience my first ever winter and the changing of the seasons and being able to watch fall, first time it left something in my heart. And so I thought, let me just go ahead and decorate this one fall. So that was the inspiration for my project today. I am going to use the piece that we labeled card base, the 8.5 by 5.5, and scored at 4 1/4, and we're going to fold on the bumpy side and burnish. So this is going to be our card. This is our card. And so I'm going to go ahead and burnish this. So this is the easy part. This is done. Okay. And so now what we're going to do is, this is the panel for the card. So this is going to sit on top like this. And this one measures 4 by 5.5. And what I did is these sticky notes have really good stick to them. I am going to use this paper, keeping it in the fall theme. I'm going to set this aside here for just a moment because I won't need that for now. And what I want to do is I want to ink my edges, and some of you have asked, well, how do you do that? It's very simple. I like using things that are archival, acid free. These will protect photos on, if you decide to add photos to this at some point. So this will keep your photos nice and safe, and it'll keep them from turning yellow. And I just use a little dauber. I've had this for a while. These sponges come out, so you can replace the sponges when you need to. And I just dab a little on here, and then I just go here. See, because I'd rather have something darker than the white edges, just for this project in particular. That's just me, just to keep it in that. It gives it a little something, not necessarily vintage, but it just, I don't know, just gives it that little extra. And I love that. And the thing about this is it sheds a little bit, but it's time for a new dauber very soon. And so this is going to be the base of my card. Now, you need to decide what direction, if you're going to have directional. I mean, leaves really don't have a direction of how they're going to fall, but you see how most of the leaves are going up? You can put it coming down. If this was a landscape, you can do it this way. I think I want the leaf tips pointing up, and so that's what I am going to adhere to my card here. Now I cut, because this card panel measures 4 by 5 1/4, I cut my paper down to 3 3/4 by 5 inches, so that it will give me the 1/4 inch all the way around as a border. My preference, it's not something that you have to do, but that's just what I like to do. And so I'm going to go ahead and take my wet glue, and you can use wet glue. This is the back of this paper, which is also cute, but it was too much for what I wanted to do, so I don't want to keep it busy, but it's a good idea to keep in mind, what side you want to use, what type of paper. And I don't know why this is not coming out. It's going to be very stubborn, and I had it capped, so of course, when you're recording, everything can go wrong. And oh, come on, not today. Here we go. And I'm not used to recording live or recording a video and discuss what I'm doing, because a lot of it is just in my head and I just do it, and I have to stop and pause, and it's like, no, you have to speak it. So pardon me for any faux pas that I may have throughout this video. It's still a learning process for me to explain out loud what I do when I've done it in my head for so many years. And so you can get it on here as straight as you can. And now we have our base. Now we've matted our card panel, okay? And so now we're going to work on this strip here. This strip here measures 1 by 4 inches. So that means I'm going to cut my paper at 3/4 inch by 3 3/4, which I've done here. I am going to go ahead and ink the edges on this as well. and it doesn't take very much. Now I've decided to do something a little different on this one that I didn't do on the previous one, because you're going to mat this down and you're going to adhere it on. Actually, you're going to mat this one down. This is the panel piece, 1x4, and I have a piece of tape on the front of it, and I have tape on the edges of it, because this is going to go here and the mechanism is going to slide in between here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mat this paper first, and I'll show you what my brain is thinking, which could be a very scary thought sometimes. And so just do the edges around. And if there's something you want me to show you, I mean, I don't take it for granted that, I try not to, that everybody knows what I'm talking about, because that's not a true statement. There may be some things you want to see how I do. Please let me know. I'll be happy to share what I know. You know, it's shared knowledge, and help others is something I like to do, and give props where props are due as well. I have a lot of these techniques I've learned years ago, and before social media is what it is today. I can't even remember how many videos and tutorials I've seen in the past 25 years that I can't remember everybody, and that's just my fault. This is a little crooked, but that's okay. I'm gonna put this on the top so it's not as obvious. So I'm gonna put this here. But as I was getting ready for this video, I thought, let me do something a little different. I'm going to add a couple of brads as I'm trying to put the tip back on my glue. These mini brads, I couldn't even tell you where I found them. I can barely hold them in my hand. So I'm gonna attempt to put these here. Now, the mechanism, let me just get all this here out of the way real quick. Let me just take this off my notes. Take this off. There's a whole lot that goes on in this process. We're going to put the longer piece through the center. So what I want to do is I want to put my brads, one here and one here, just to give it a little extra oomph. And so I think, let me measure this one more time. I know this is 4 inches, 4 inches. So I think I'm going to eyeball it. I can't, I don't know, I just think in my brain, you know, what looks even. So I'm just going to put the center of these lines on this line here, and I'm going to use a piercing tool, and I got this at Dollar Tree years ago, actually a couple years ago. So you can use any type of piercing tool, and this is a self-healing mat. That's why it looks pretty destroyed. So I am going to eyeball this. This one's actually going to go right in the center of this leaf here. And so I'm going to pierce a hole and punch it through. Okay, be careful when you do this. And then we're going to go, so this is probably about, this is a little over 2/4 of an inch in, and it's right at this little line. I couldn't tell you what measurement that is because I'm not that smart, but I am going to make a line in the center. I might just put it right here, right in front. So actually, let me do this, make it easier. Let's put this in here. And it's I'm sorry, I think out loud. And again, this is, there's no editing. This is, as I'm recording it, that's how it's going in. It's gonna get posted. So I guess part of it is a good thing. You can see the thought process behind all of this. So I am going to go and I can't, and I'm used to putting things up in my face, and I can't put my face here because what's going to happen is you're going to see my head and not what I'm doing. And so this is looking good right here. Let's just hope and pray that it's good. I mean, there's some people that are very meticulous as far as exact measurements. Sometimes I am and sometimes I'm not. And that looks pretty straight. Well, how about that? I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And now we have this. Okay, so this part is done. I would like to put some adhesive on behind these, some tape rather, so that it kind of keeps them stable. Not that they're not going to go anywhere, but it just gives it that extra stability, if you will. And the thing about this too is it will give me the extra lift I need, and you'll understand what I mean as soon as I get further along in this project. So now this piece is going to go here. And it's gonna go about 3/4 of an inch up, you know, eyeball it or measure it, whatever you like. I'm gonna take my backing off. And we don't want to put glue here because remember, we're gonna have a sliding mechanism. So you don't wanna seal it shut. You wanna be able to slide the mechanism up and down or back and forth. So we're gonna center this. And I'm gonna, it's even with the card, not with the paper, because the paper is 3/4 of an inch inside. So I am going to put it right here. And so let me pick this up a little bit just so that I can see that it's straight, because I don't want something crooked, not here. Okay, and there we go. So you want to make sure that the edges are matted and burnished and filed down as much as possible here, just to adhere the tape to. So now we have this space here. Okay, maybe I should have, there we go. Now we have the space here. And so now we're all set with that. So now what's gonna happen is once this is done, this will be able to slide back and forth. It's not gonna go through because I have my sticky note, but you see what I mean? Can you see that? Okay, so now that this is done, I just wanna keep doing this just to keep this together here. Give me the space I need. Perfect, okay? So this is done. Now we're going to go to the mechanism piece. And this measures 1 by 9. And I'm scored at 4 3/4, 5 1/2, 6 1/4, and 7. If you think I'm going a little too fast, there's a recorded video prior to this one that has the measurements on there at a much slower rate than what I'm doing right now. And let me show you how I got this together. What you're gonna add onto this piece here is going to be your 4 pieces of 2 by 2 chipboard, or I'm sorry, cardstock, which are these pieces here. So you're gonna need 4 of these. And then I decided to mat it with these here. And because these are 2 by 2, my mats are gonna be 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, just to give me that little edge around, okay? I am going to go ahead and I'm going to, let me, I don't know if I want to ink the edges of that or not. I need a moment to think about that. Because what I'm going to add to here is, and this was the edge of the paper, so actually I may have to ink it. I may have to do this because I'm going to put a piece of paper here. Can you see that now, how it's kind of coming together? I don't know if I want the extra height on it though, because the more bulk you add, the more difficult it will be to slide it. So I need to think about that for a moment. But anywho, we are going to take this piece here. And before I do anything, before I add it here, I want to mat here like I did here, just so that you have an idea, because this part is going to pull out. I'm not worried about the back. I want just something up here in the front. So I'm going to use the same leaves. I'm going to ink these edges, and I usually don't have to redab because the ink holds pretty enough ink just to do this, what I need to do here. Okay, and then I'm going to add my glue to the back. This paper line is very cute. It's by Minte. They have really pretty paper lines, and it's thick. It's thicker cardstock. It's not wafer thin. It's very good quality paper. And so we're gonna put this on the inside again to have the 3/4 of an inch around. And I have to turn it this way because I cannot see this way. Okay. And there's our mechanism here. And so this is going to slide here. Starting to get a visual. Okay. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to adhere. I think I already made a mistake. No, I'm good. I am going to add adhesive to the back of this piece here, and this piece is going to stick here. Okay, I hope this is making sense, and if not, you will see it in just a moment. You don't want to put adhesive on any other part of this mechanism except for the inside part of the flap here, because this is going to go down here, and then you'll be able to pull the tab down here, if that makes sense. So I am going to put a piece of adhesive in here, and I'm going to use my score tape. I don't want to use wet glue for this. I need to have some score tape. So I am going to put it alongside here. So this is the long piece here. We're going to insert this here, and we want this to adhere to here, if that's making sense. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the tape backing off. And you know, this isn't the most perfect way to show it, but this is how I know how to do it. If you find an easier way to do this, please feel free. I like, let's see, I want it to be even. See how I have this just slightly down? I don't know if I think I want it even. So I'm gonna turn this over this way so I can see. And if my head gets in the way, I absolutely apologize, because that was not my intention. So I wanna make it even with the bottom of this and make sure that it's centered. That's important. And so now here you go. I think that's centered. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay. And now what we're going to do, and I'm not going to pull this just yet because I want to keep this flat. You can either add the panels to this before you put it down. I don't like to bend them prior because it just, I don't know, it's just me. I like a cleaner line, a base to work with. So what you're going to do is you're going to adhere these squares just underneath this fold. You don't want to go over it because then it's not going to turn correctly. So you want it just underneath the fold. So before I adhere these, I highly recommend that you mat these, and that would make life so much easier. And so I think I decided I'm going to go ahead and add ink to my edges, or ink my edges on all of them. So you can do that to all four. So before you put things down, adhere them, make sure that you have things that are matted. And when I say matted, it's just putting the paper that you want onto your pieces. So that's what matting means, in case you didn't know. Now you do. And please, there's no such thing as a dumb question. There's a lot of stuff I still don't know how to do. And I watch so many people with their journals, and it's such fabulous work. And I don't know. It's very hard for me to do that. But I think once I practice it a little bit more and get used to a different concept, a different idea, I think I'll be okay. You know, you can even use these as your panel, because this chipboard, this board is thick, and not board, I keep saying board, my apologies. This paper is very thick. It's good quality paper. So these could even be your panels. You don't even have to mat it. You can use a thinner paper to mat if you would like. Just a FYI. Okay. The only thing about these little things is they get lost a little bit. So now I need to decide. You see, these are going to be slightly too long, so I'm going to hold off on the designs of these for just a second. So I'm going to, let me just adhere the first one and see what I want to do. So this is going to be this way here. Remember, these are 2 by 2. These are 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, so that I can have the border around the little white piece. I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive to the back. Okay. And again, Be careful of your direction. I don't know if you want it this way or this way. I want mine this way. So it's gonna go just below the score mark here. Make sure it's straight. And there you go. There's piece one. And you're going to do the same. And I like starting from the bottom. I like starting from the bottom because what's going to happen is you can add them on top of each other easily. Okay. Whereas if you go on the top, then you're going to have to kind of shuffle this underneath, if that's making sense. And I actually didn't even use the, oh man, I really goofed. Let me take this off. Well, no, you know what? I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to use these panels because this paper is already thick. So I'm glad I did that because I was debating on whether to do that or not. So this is working out great. You can save these for another project. If this paper wasn't as thick as it was, I would have used these as a back. I was wondering why it wasn't fitting right. Why this was longer. Now you see why and let me show you right now that I have this. If I added this, and this, now we got something a little bit thicker here. It may not slide easily back and forth. So I'm glad that that happened. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. And I can still add this paper, but it won't give it the bulk. Okay. So I think, let me see, what do I want to do? These are the pictures I have to work with. And this is also from that paper collection. I think because there's a lot going on here, I don't want this one on the bottom. I may want something a little bit more plain. See how that works? So I think I'll put that there. I'm gonna ink my edges with this as well. Keep everything consistent. Okay, and so let me just keep the paper here so I don't have to keep reaching for it like that. I'm gonna add adhesive all the way around on this here. And this is as long as this one is. You want to just center it a little bit. Okay. And there you go. There's part one done. Now we're going to add this one too on the top. Okay. So now I'm going to add adhesive. Now on this piece, you just want to add adhesive on the top. You don't want to put adhesive all the way on the bottom because then you're going to attach it to this, and that's something that we don't want to do. So for this piece, I recommend, I'm going to add dry tape or adhesive to the back of this, simply because for me, this is going to be stronger. And I need to decide it. Yeah, it went that way. So I'm going to add a strip of paper of adhesive here, or you can add it here. You know, we can do that if you would like. I can't cut. Sorry for my arm in the way, but let me grab this. It's so much better. I'm going to put this and do that here, and do this and do this here. This will be easier. Okay, so I am going to, and let me see what I want to put here. Maybe I'll do the bicycle and then add it this way. I think that's cute. And it kind of gives it the pumpkins here and the pumpkins ended up here. Yeah, I think that works out good. There's just a lot to my process. Sometimes I overthink things and sometimes I just let it be what it's going to be. And for this one, let's go ahead and adhere it to this one. And I kind of just want to make sure that I'm still lined up here, but I don't want to go over this line here. Okay, so I'm going to turn it this way because it's easier for me to see. And I want to make sure that everything is lined up. Man, it makes a difference when you have this up in your face. So it should have a flap like this, okay? There is that. Now we're going to add the wet glue to this. And this piece, you can add glue all the way around. because you want to stick it to this part here, not over, just on your piece here. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing with this one. What do I want to add on top of this one? Maybe just a little, I don't know what that is. I don't think it's a porcupine, maybe it is. I'm not familiar with my animals, I apologize. I'm going to take the backing off of this here. Add this here. And again, this is just my process. If something else works easier for you, see how I put this too close to the edge? I'm just gonna roll it up. See how you fix that? You just roll it up. I wanna make sure this is even with this one here. And then now I can press. Get rid of that piece there. Okay, I'll clean this up in a second. Once I take my contacts off and put this directly in my face, I'll be able to clean it off. Goodness gracious. All right. Well, there we go. Well, that needs to be clean because I'll clean it in a second. Just let me carry on here with the project at hand. No, I can't let it go. Let me get very gently take a blade here. Jiminy. You know what? I'll work with this later. Sorry. I'm taking up too much recording time. Anyway, let's grab the little guy here and we are going to adhere it to this piece here. So I am just going to go from here. Let me just, because I know it's going to go here. Okay. Again, here we go off to the side. I want to make sure the sides are even with this here. I'm going to slide it a little bit. There we go. And smooth down. And that tape is driving me nuts, y'all. I have an eraser somewhere. I just don't know where it is right now. But my brain can't let me go and let it go. There we go. Okay. I could breathe now. I could breathe. I could breathe. And the last one. See how I made it too close to the edge here? Let me show you how to fix that. Just roll it with your finger. And it'll slide. See that? It'll roll up on the edges, which is what you want. Okay. Perfect. And then we're going to add this piece up here. Make sure it's even on the sides with this. Press that down. And then I need to decide, he's hanging out a little too much. I don't know, we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Well, I don't want this to be on top of the poor little guy's head. Now you see the difference between this and this? These are more inside. I don't know how this is gonna work, but we'll soon find out. Well, let me try this. I'm gonna push this. It's not adhered yet, so. Let's see, did this one stick to this one? It sure did. So this, so this, and this. And then I need to put one here. This might be okay. It's much. Well, there. Let's put this here. There we go. Okay, we're working on it. We're working. I may have to trim that because it's sticking out too far. Let me just leave this here for now, and I guess that's what happens when you record. Okay. Well, might as well do it. I may just cut it up this way and cut off the top here, so it's not sitting on the poor little guy. So I'm gonna trim off this little piece here. Sorry, I bumped the camera. I'm running out of space here. Let me just come this way. I really need to get rid of this this light, this camera, or this ring light. I definitely need a different type. Just put this aside. Ink the top here. Okay. And I'm gonna ink the top here. Alrighty. And I don't want to come out down here because this is going to be at the top here. I want to make sure the ends are even with this one here. And there we go. Alrighty. And so, here we go. Actually, I think that's going to work out just okay. So that's how you create this mechanism. I'm thinking of attaching something here just to be able to pull it out easier. But you see how it gets caught sometimes? So you want to make sure that there's nothing interfering underneath this mechanism. So that's what that looks like. And so there's my somewhat explanation of creating a waterfall card. You get the gist. And I think I might have extended the tape a little too long on this side. That's why it's getting caught up here. But I was thinking of possibly adding something here to be able to pull out. And I had found, I don't know where it went. I'll have to see what I want to add here. You can add a little tab on the bottom to pull. I'm thinking of adding an eyelet and add a little bit of twine on it so you'll be able, it's easier to grab and pull rather than dig underneath your finger under this tab and pull it. So let me see what I come up with, but for now, this is what I have. This is the waterfall tutorial. Sorry if I confused you, but here you go. And it's preference. You see, I like the cleaner line of this personally, but this is cute too. So it's different. So I'm okay with it. And that's all there is to it. Once you do it more often, it's easier. Some things seem more complicated than they are, but at least this way, by you seeing the process, maybe it's you appreciate how much work goes into something like this and understand, not me personally, but others who charge the fees that they charge to create something. You know, you can't hate on them for their time and the work that they do. You know, for some, this is a livelihood, and I'm understanding that I'll never make, and I don't want it to be that. I'm not doing this to make money. I do this because I love it, and it just happens to sell, you know, and it's very reasonable and not comparable to what others are charging. But hey, that's me. And so I hope you've enjoyed this. I think it turned out pretty cute. And then this you will attach to your card here. So now you have this. Okay, so this is just the interactive piece that you will attach to here. But I don't want to attach it just yet because I need to figure out what I'm going to place down here. So this is my card. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to see what you come up with. Again, my way is not the only way. This has been created hundreds and thousands of times, more than I can think. And I may decide to add something here. I don't think so. It's already good enough like it is. But you know, you have room to work with here. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. I hope this helps. And again, like I said, I would love to see what you come up with. Thanks, guys. Bye.